Today's video, we're going to talk about Google Ads spam leads. Most advice on how to get rid of spam leads with Google is total BS. I've seen a bunch of videos on this about spam leads and getting rid of them on YouTube, and none of them really give you the right information. It's mainly about, let's update my form so that people can't fill out the form if it's a bot, or some of my competitors doing this or paying somebody to do this, or let's create some software or use some software to get rid of the non-real traffic so they can't fill out the form. The reality is, at the end of the day, you're still paying for these people to get to your site. They're clicking on your ads, and your ads aren't going to be profitable, so none of that is, it's worthless to you, ultimately. To fix the issue with the spam leads, you need to fix it at the traffic source level. Not on the website level, even though it's it's nice to get some of that extra stuff going on, but that's not what people are talking about. That's what you actually have to focus on, and you're not going to get it done by adding negative keywords, making sure to do these basic things with your account. If it were that easy, there wouldn't be 10 million people with this problem. You can clearly see by the amount of videos on YouTube alone about this topic, there are a lot of people who have this issue. And for that matter, in our agency, I see at least 50% of the clients that I work with nowadays have issues with spam leads. It's to the point where if you do not know how to deal with spam leads, you're not going to make any money with ads. You cannot just be, the average Joe that comes to Google Ads and I don't know anything about it and you just start making money, because there's so much money at stake now. People are going to want to click your ads to get rid of you. That is what we call click fraud. And then on top of that, advertising on websites where people get paid for people clicking on ads on those websites through Google AdSense, people want to make more money. And they want to click their own ads to make more money and juice the system. So at the end of the day, when money is involved, people are going to do and use bots to either take advantage of you in one way or another. And you got to know how to deal with this at the source, getting rid of the root of the problem. I'm going to talk about this in today's video and go over how you actually physically fix this and why it's specifically also a problem, how it comes up in the first place. With that said, if you do not know who I am Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for their clients. That is, we do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift to the profitability upfront in excess of the management fees that we charge. We're the only agency out there that offers anything like this, which should tell you something about the quality of the information that I'm sharing with you on this video. So with that said, getting into the content. Now, spam leads, first and foremost here, they come from two sources. You either got bots that are clicking through the ads, that your ads, and getting to your website, at least when you're talking about Google Ads spam leads specifically. A bot is either clicking your ad and go to your site and filling out the form, or you got paid pawns. People that are paid go to your ad and click on it and fill out the form, and it's a fake lead. I want to add a secondary tier to this one in terms of human capital. You also got people who are mistakenly clicking through your ads and calling you. What people will do is, particularly when a form spam lead isn't going to mess up your campaigns because you mainly rely on calls, like such as if you're a plumber, very few people are going to fill out a form for a broken toilet. So what they'll do is they'll post a job ad on Facebook saying, hey, we're looking for Spanish-speaking cleaning people. All you got to do to apply is click through this link here and go to the website and call. And that'll muck up all your call tracking to where you can't make any money either as well. And they actually take the link of your ad and place it in Facebook so it looks like it's your ad that's running on Google or someplace else that all these people that are applying for a job are from. And really, it's actually embedded on Facebook and there's a job listing there, or another website for that matter. But for the people that are getting these issues with people calling and asking for jobs, I hear people, all you got to do is add negative keywords to your accounts for people looking for jobs. That's not going to work, because that's where their issue is coming from. Now, naturally, you can get people asking for a job a lot. That can happen. But when it's call after call after call after call, and you're getting no real leads, practically speaking, that's generally where it's from. When we're talking about bots, like I mentioned before, you got people Like if you advertise on a certain website, like even big websites are doing this now. If you advertise on Forbes.com, they're going to have bots clicking their own ads there to make more money because they're a dying legacy media outlet. And that is going to give you a bot visitor and a bot lead filling out your form. But you also got people using traffic bots that will click your own ad from Google search ads. Traffic Bot Pro is one that I've reviewed on this channel before. And it's not hard at all to set up a bot that will click your competitors' ads. And Google could be easier, do a better job weeding this stuff out, but they don't care at the end of the day because they're making money either way. And in fact, it just basically helps them. Given that 70% or so of the people who advertise on Google don't even know what the hell's going on. They don't know their head from their ass. Basically pay for those ads whether it gets 1 lead or 100 or none. They just don't really track anything. And so when they could get bots to click on their ads, it's just going to add to more of what they could sell to that person ultimately. So you could have a bot lead from that, and the bot will actually click through your ad and then convert to mess up your conversion tracking and make the system and Google's ads' algorithm optimized for more traffic versus the type of traffic you want. It's the same thing though if you advertise on websites outside of Google. The bots that click their own ads so they can make more money from their AdSense will go to your website, fill out the form, and turn into a bot lead so that they can make more money. And then your ads that are set up to optimize for leads are going to see the lead came easy there, and then optimize for more traffic to come from that website, which then it just is a negative self-perpetuating feedback loop, which drives your campaign straight 6 feet into the freaking ground. So you got bots and you got these paid pawns. And I should say also, when it comes to the paid pawns specifically, paid or tricked pawns. I talked about the tricked ones. The paid pawns, what they'll do is they'll run an ad in the Philippines, India, and they'll say, hey, get paid to click on ads, or get paid to do some random thing that has nothing to do with clicks. And they have like a software that they install on their computer, which allows them to trigger their own YouTube ads and then click through them so they can make more money from their YouTube ads on their YouTube channel. And they use humans to do this to get so that it could trick Google, because Google tries to weed out, at least in terms of Google AdSense and making money from it, bot traffic. Otherwise, it would be completely all bot traffic and that's it. It would just take over the ecosystem. So they'll use humans to, watch the video ad, then click on the ad and look like a human so they can trick their system. And then they pay them a small chunk of the money that they get from Google AdSense to the person clicking the ads. And then they have these so-called paid pawns to click your ads. So that's another source of bot clicks or bot traffic, if you will. And then of course you got bots that scour the internet, make a list of websites, go to those forums, fill out those forms, and then they're trying to sell you shit. Go to this cryptocurrency website, whatever. But that's generally speaking not ads, and I see a lot of people get confused as to that is from your ads, when really they got to your website by finding your link on a directory somewhere. And I have to tell the client, like, hey, to fix that, you specifically need, that's a situation where adding form protection will actually fix your situation. CAPTCHAs, whatever. But bots rarely can be blocked all the way with the CAPTCHA, adding additional form fields to your form or software, and basically is just a Band-Aid. Because, at least when you're talking about Google Ads here, it'll drain your budget and you'll make your ads unprofitable anyway, even if you were to block every bot that gets to your website and stop them from filling out your form or calling, if you will. So what you have to do is block traffic at the bots at the source, so they never even get to your website in the first place. If you're going to stop the bots from draining the profitability out of your campaigns that you're running on Google, if you have people paid or tricked to fill out your form or call, then you only fix that by filtering out the offending traffic sources itself. So you got to figure out where to stop the people that are clicking through your ads maliciously so that they don't see your ads anymore, per se. For that matter, what you're going to have to do is, if you're running search campaigns, you're going to need to look at all the traffic sources that you have and filter those people out on an audience level itself. You look at the keyword traffic, the search terms that are triggering your ads, the demographics, so on and so forth, and see where the actual fake forms are coming from. With that said, if you're tracking the fake forms and you are tracking that in your Google Ads account, it'll tell you where most of the fake forms are coming from, if you will, because you're getting, more than likely in your situation right now, if you're having this happen to you, you're getting a whole bunch of fake form fills itself, and they're coming in heavy and hard and in an unnatural volume. So you just have to look at where they're all coming from, basically, and then weed those traffic sources out. Search term normally produces a legitimate form conversion a week. One search term produces all of a sudden 20 in a week. Well, that search term's problematic and you can block it. You got to go through the, Google Ads does a decent job of letting you slice and dice your traffic. You could even go to the audience level and add a bunch of audiences as observances to your campaigns, and then just see where all the fake form conversions are coming from. In the audience menu, you can track whether people have, they like fast food, they like watching football, and find the trends within the data and then block those people that match those traits, if you will. But that's how you do it on a search campaign level. Ultimately, that will block the software from being able to click your ad in the first place because it won't find it. It will, for that matter, if you have a situation where somebody tries to post a fake job ad on Facebook and say, hey, apply here at this website, we'll pay you like $40 an hour or whatever to try to get to harm you or affect you that way. That will only work if you keep switching out the links. Otherwise, Google is going to notice all the traffic from that particular link and see it's a natural and then weed it out, so to say. What Google does, some actual anti-fraud, anti-click fraud protection on your account. So what it does is it's going to go to Google and constantly find new links to then post the new jobs, so to say. And then with that said, if you are finding, again, which of these traffic sources are the bad leads are coming from, it won't find your ad anymore and it'll just think you gave up, so to say. So it still goes back to the same thing, which is you got to find within the traffic trends on every dimension, on every level, where it's actually coming from, and then weed it out that way, stomp it out that way. That'll make sure your campaigns are profitable, because weeding it out once it gets to your website, you're not profitable anymore. When you're talking about display campaigns, that is ads running outside of the search engine of google.com. When you're talking about display campaigns, demand gen campaigns, YouTube campaigns itself, then in that situation, what you typically got to do to weed the bot spam leads out is at a website level / placement level. So on Google Display Network, I've talked about at length how anymore so many people are clicking their own ads to make extra money from AdSense, even the big websites like Forbes.com. You got to find certain websites that will work. There are certain websites that are honest, where you'll get mostly all real traffic from them. For the most part, it's going to be websites with reoccurring users on those websites. Niche forums, niche blogs, and real traffic. They don't have to click their own ads to make money. A lot of websites, they're counting on traffic from Google alone to make people click on their ads on their website. And for that matter, they actually don't have much of a business going on, which will make them want to click their own ads. Or like with a Forbes, they have so much overhead, they had to go to clicking their own ads in order to stay afloat. That said, the websites, here's a trick to know if a website really has good, honest, legit traffic on it that you want to tap into. Go to the website and see if they're selling banner ad placements directly to their users. Because if they didn't have real traffic, good traffic, they would not get anybody to buy the ad spots. They would just run Google AdSense by itself. And those websites a lot of times will still have Google AdSense spots on there, but it's only one part of the revenue that they offer, or one part of the revenue generation that they have from monetizing the visitors on their site. So in that case, you probably will get real traffic. But in general, what we found is, again, websites that have people that regularly come back and back and back to these websites, those are the best ones to advertise on, that will have real visits and won't have the bot traffic in there. So when you're advertising on Google Display Network, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to find certain websites to advertise on. Instead of advertising on tons of them, At least when you're talking about non-remarketing, because with remarketing, you know you're getting in front of real users. When you're talking about prospecting traffic, making a list of a bunch of websites to advertise on is the best way to make money itself. Or if you can't do that because there's just too many websites to target, you target people who have recently searched for a buying related term on Google. So if you sell mattresses, buy mattresses, mattresses for sale, and you're targeting a website based upon the context, and you do keyword targeting, and those keywords you target are going to be like mattress reviews, like mattress pricing and stuff like that, so that you're basically assuring you're getting on a website about the topic at hand of what you sell. Even though the keyword matching algorithm is not great, when you pair it with the data that Google has on what people have searched on Google, you get in front of a legitimate person there. That's what we found with Google Display Network. That works the best to weed out the bot traffic. When you're talking about YouTube, there's been plenty of times where we've had bots clicking through YouTube ads because people want to juice their numbers on YouTube. Or you got competitors who will click through your ads as well to screw you up. And so what you have to do with that is you have to find the offending YouTube channels that you're getting hit on, because there's no effective way for your competitor outside of remarketing, by the way, for them to find your ad to click through it all the time. So what they'll do is they'll find channels that you're likely to be on and then click through it and then screw you up that way, if you will. And in that situation, you have no choice but to stop advertising on those channels. But that's the best way to handle it there itself. In demand gen, basically there's nothing to weed out because you're on Gmail, you're on YouTube, and there's nothing there's nothing you can do really to filter anything out. You can go on the demographics level and weed people out that way. That's a secondary option. But that's how you fix spam leads on the display campaign side. By the way, if you ultimately want to make money with your ads, you have to know all these little details about running ads anymore in order to do it. And it's not simple at all anymore to make money. However, the upside is if you figure out all these little things you need to know, you'll make millions of dollars a year running ads for your business. It's worth doing. If you want the information from some source that is real, it's legit. It's not from somebody who's trying to make money from, AdSense on their YouTube channel or sell courses, whatever. You should subscribe to this channel because the information I'm giving you on this channel comes from somebody who spends 40 hours a week legitimately doing ad strategy at her firm on dozens of ad accounts to give you the real information about what works. And I'm only able to give you this information because I spend my weekends sharing what I learned during my full-time day job, and I work 80 hours a week in order to do this. Nobody else does this. They run a YouTube channel and they don't manage any ads, or they manage ads and they don't share anything. I have both. If you're going to subscribe to anything, you should subscribe to this channel. Furthermore, I've got a great blog on my site that has even better information on it, in my opinion. You can find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has step-by-step instructions on basically how to be able to make more money from ads and what we use to guarantee our clients' results there with screenshots, with the step-by-step tutorials. You should check that out as well if you like the channel already. If you have any questions about anything I covered here, you think you have a weird situation where what I said doesn't apply to you, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. But with all that said, okay, if everything I mentioned to you doesn't work already, you can't crack it, you can reach out to our firm and we'll do it for you because 98% of the time I can get rid of a click fraud issue or bot clicking on your ad issue because I know all the tricks. But if you have a problem that's not too bad, that is your ads the spam leads are an annoyance. You're still not losing money, but you're getting way too many. In that situation, you're at least able to collect data on who converts, and with that you can use to separate out the bots from the non-bots, or the pawns that are clicking on your ad, paid pawns, tricked pawns. And with that said, you can use something called offline conversion tracking to fix and sort out the bot traffic from your ads so that the people that look like bots, that have the traits of bots or the pawns, will be weeded out of the ad traffic stream from the source, which is, again, what you want to do. You want to stomp out the issue you have at the source, at the root. Offline conversion tracking, the way that works is is you set up your contact form / phone number if you have that. And when somebody fills out the form or calls, you could do this with the CallRail account very easily. You collect the Google Click ID, and then when your sales staff, after they're finishing dealing with that lead, they mark down on a sheet somewhere or CRM, this lead was qualified or this was a spam. And the leads that are qualified, you give that associated Google Click ID that was associated with that particular lead when it came in. You give that back to Google, and then you build up that data in your account for a while, and then you eventually switch your campaigns to optimize for people that actually were qualified. And then Google, and then you just keep sending that data in, and Google gets to understand, oh, well, this is where real leads come from, and this is where the spam leads come from. Therefore, let's weed out the spam leads so we can get just the good ones for the client. That is, so with that, your ads are going to get less and less bot traffic all the time. We've got it to where we use offline conversion tracking for clients, and where we had, not only bots, but like a lot of tire kickers, and we got to 80-90% of every call and form lead we would get for let's say just a normal local service company that does kitchen remodeling, that the lead's qualified and serious. That's how effective this is. Whereas the average is only going to be like 50%, 40%. So it really makes things efficient in your account. But you got to get the data in there. And so what that'll do is it'll clean up the rest of the bots that you have, the spam that you have, but it won't take you from 99% bot leads to 1% bot leads, because you need a certain amount of good leads coming in order to have the algorithm weed out the bad leads. If you're like 50-50, bad to good, or even 75-25 bad to good, you're already good enough with offline conversion tracking, and the process I described of it will actually help you get to where it is, 10% or less spam / bot leads. Generally speaking, you want to do both. You want to look at the traffic level and or placement level, depending if you're talking about search or display ads, to weed out the bad traffic right away. Then, to take you the rest of the way, you use that offline conversion tracking process to take you down to less than 10% of bad leads or bot leads, if you will. I will tell you that even though I talk about offline conversion tracking to people all the time, and we use it for every client campaign that we work on at our firm for clients, but very few people do it. They look at it, they say, yeah, Corey, I understand it, it makes sense, and then they might do it for a month or two, and then they stop doing it because they're busy. I understand people are busy, but you should be paying somebody to get that data in your account, because half the value of your advertising spend is literally tied to the data acquisition you get that tells you where the customers you ultimately want are at specifically. And if you're not getting that data, you're only getting half the value out of your ad traffic. So even if you had to pay someone $1,000 a month to get the right data in the damn account, it would be worth it, which it doesn't even have to cost that much, realistically. We do it at our firm for clients, and it's a throw-in part of the service, which is why we charge a little bit more. But frankly, in a PPC service where they're not doing opportunity level tracking, where they're verifying leads are qualified and then using that to steer the ads, they're doing a shitty job, in my opinion, because ultimately it's free extra money and it makes a huge difference on your results long term. You'll make at least 3 times as much money long term when you optimize for qualified leads than just regular any old lead, because you have these bot leads and everything else that you're paying for that you don't ultimately want. With what I was saying is, because people are so lazy, arrogant, whatever you want to call them, about not getting this data into their account or not believing it'll work, not telling themselves what they want to believe, which is this doesn't make a difference, I don't need to do it. That you are probably going to be the only one in your niche market doing it. So not only is it going to weed out the spam leads, it's going to make the tire kickers get weeded out along with it as a bonus at the same time. And the reason why it makes you 3 times as much money from your ad account long term is because your competition's not doing it, because they're too lazy to do it. And now it's like going to war at night with you only are the only one with night vision goggles to go to war, and your competition doesn't have it. So you understand exactly where all the whale traffic is. Where's the whale buyers? You go after them, and they're going to go after where leads are the cheapest. Because generally speaking, the rule of thumb is the cheapest leads are going to be the shittiest ones. Okay? I mean, that's just how it is statistically. Do you want to optimize for shitty leads? aka a cheap lead cost, or do you want to optimize for whale customers? And you can't complain that you're not getting the whale customers until you've got the offline conversion tracking process going for your account already, regardless of how much of a pain in the ass it seems to do that. In general, it boggles my mind how much people don't want to do certain things with their ads that I talk about on this channel. They work their ass off to try to make a small improvement to their shipping process or their hiring process. Whereas their ads, that same amount of time spent on your ads, you'd make twice as much money in your business already. And when it's done, it's done. It's not like, ultimately you get somebody to, with offline conversion tracking to do it for you once you set up the process for it. You're going to make that money forever after, and you don't have anything else to do. It's a lot of stuff that you do that I talk about, and then nobody has to deal with it. You set up single keyword ad groups, and that gets you more results ongoing once it's set up. People don't want to spend the 200 hours worth of work up front to do it. And so they just perpetually settle for much less money because they don't want to spend 200 hours initially to get the work done the right way, right from the get-go. So anyway, with that said, and for that matter, if you don't like to do work and you've got money, then you just reach out to our firm and we'll do it for you. It's really that simple, and we guarantee your results. If you're interested in that, reach out to us at guaranteedppc.com. I'll have a conversation with you about the topic of making you some money using these techniques, including offline conversion tracking. If we've worked, by the way, in your own niche market, we could tell you not only the results we got in it before in a different city or country that you're in, but if you don't want to work with us, you can buy your template. Copy paste the landing page, the ad templates, all of it into your niche market. And then you just are going to get the same results we did, but with none of the time, money, and effort it took for us to figure out how to run the best ads in your market, because we've already figured it out. And you're going to know what you're going to be able to get with it up front. So if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. We've worked in hundreds of niches, so the chances are good. We've got the results you're looking for in the market you're interested for them in. And then on top of that, if you don't like working with agencies, a lot of people don't, they want to manage their own ads, you can reach out to me for consulting. I've been doing 30-minute coaching calls with individuals from this channel, and I promise you, this is no BS. Every person who gets a coaching call from me comes back for more coaching because the information they got on that call was so valuable, because I'm able to look at all the stuff that you got going on. Your website, your pricing, your packaging, your landing page strategy, your sales strategy, and I let you know, okay, this is the thing you need to focus on that's stopping you from getting here in terms of your sales revenue coming from your ads. And a lot of you guys, you blame your ads, and really it's your sales process that's screwed up, or your landing page that's screwed up, or whatever. And you need to know that information. So if you're interested in that, I also been offering that service as well. You can reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com if you're interested in that. With that said, I'm going to pretty much wrap it up with that. That tells you what you need to do. So you need to put the work in, look at your traffic at the traffic level, at the audience/demographics level. You need to look at the placements level if you're talking about display ads, if you really want to take care of the spam issue once and for all, and not just, even though it might be harder to do, it really is the right solution. All this other crap, anti-fraud software, click fraud software, additional fields in the form, all this crap is just, a solution that people want because it's simple, it's easy. There's no shortage of people, even on YouTube, talking about, there's channels dedicated of giving people, it's like junk food information, I call it, where it sounds good, sounds great, tells you what you want to hear, which is you can make a lot of money doing a little bit of work, and it doesn't work at the end of the day. Once you figure out that making millions of dollars on Google Ads is not going to be a tiny amount of work, but it will work if you just put the work in, which is the upside to it, the quicker you're going to get to the millions. And that's it. So with that said, I'll wrap it up. I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said Google Ads was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.